Hi everyone, Harry here. Man, oh man, Rudy Giuliani gets hammered in a way we were anticipating, but the actual 22-page opinion by the bankruptcy judge is scalding. Okay, so remember the context here. There's this bank, after he is socked for 148 defamation verdict because of his complete false impugning of Ruby Freeman and Shea Moss, the Georgia election workers. He declares bankruptcy and everything gets all messy. But without going too much into the details, the main thing is it's preceded by and part and parcel after he declares bankruptcy with all kinds of scofflaw efforts to bob and weave and simply not comply in two ways with what a debtor in bankruptcy has to do. The first is stop spending like a drunken sailor, which Giuliani didn't do. And the second is to be open and, play an open hand about what your assets are so a court can make a logical determination of who gets what, etc. Okay, so we have sort of three interests here. One is Giuliani, one is Moss and Freeman, and then there are some other debtors. He doesn't have much money, Giuliani, but he owes other people, including lawyers he's stiffed, more money. So what were they going to do? Moss and Freeman came in and said, you know what, just dissolve the damn bankruptcy motion. He filed for bankruptcy under Chapter 11 to reorganize. He suggested maybe you can change to Chapter 7, which would just liquidate everything. They said just dismiss it because then we will be able, when you're a bankrupt debtor, you get certain protections, right? People can't just come after you because you're trying to take all the assets and make a methodical distribution of them. And otherwise, Moss and Freeman can go around and just, they've got this $148 million verdict, and they can attach different assets of his, and that's what they say they want to do. Now, there was a hearing on Wednesday, and they just totally excoriated Giuliani, and there was suggestions of criminal conduct, and it got into a food fight. The court made it seem as if they was going to grant the motion to dismiss the bankruptcy altogether, and that's what happened. The opinion comes out today, and it leaves Giuliani exposed, and it really, really, really disparages him for all he's done. So they go through here's what Giuliani wants to convert it to a different kind of bankruptcy, although he's been all over the map. But the motion before me is, let's just dismiss it. And that's what the court does. Now, why does the court do it, or what's the analysis, and how does it fit in with Giuliani's complete failure to comply with his legal obligations? He's just become an absolute outlaw. He was recently disbarred, in fact. Okay, so they go through all the things he does to bob and weave and keep out of, keep from paying. He actually, the defamation case he wound up losing kind of on the motions, on the law, because he would never comply with the court orders to actually supply what he, what he had to do as part of the defamation case. And there's a whole long series of just complete derelictions on his part. Okay, so the court recites those, and here's the court's sort of legal analysis. First, Giuliani says, look, can I convert from Chapter 11, where you'll reorganize, to Chapter 7, where you just take it all and liquidate? And the court says you don't have an absolute right to do that. That's the first issue. You don't have an absolute right. Therefore, we're going to actually think about the factors that go to whether we should permit you to do it. And basically, when a party, an interest, you can convert it or dismiss it, whatever is in the best interest of creditors and the estate. And that becomes the significant legal standard that the court applies, and they go through everything, including all the total crap that he's done. He, doesn't comply with any of the orders of the court. He keeps spending money, which means there's going to be less for Moss and Friedman to get. And they, basically just completely takes them to task like a thug, which is what Rudy Giuliani has become. Anyway, so the court goes through all that and says, I have the authority now to convert or to dismiss. What's more in the interest of the parties, and that's when he really, the judge hammers Giuliani to say, we're gonna dismiss it because they just go through chapter and verse of all the things that he hasn't done, and all the problems he has created. Even the little bit of information he supplied is completely wanting, and he's failed everything, and they go through it as part and parcel of deciding, do we convert it to Chapter 7 or do we just dismiss it? There are 2, 3, 4 pages of really excoriating findings by the court, including the lack of giving all the information is particularly troubling given concerns that he's engaged in self-dealing and potential conflicts of interest, basically trying to get money and hide it. It really comes home to roost, all the stuff he's been doing for years, at least in this one opinion. So based on that, what's in the best interest of creditors in the state and the legal principle, even though the other creditors who have $1 million or $2 million at stake would like to stay in bankruptcy, Moss and Friedman are like, we want to just be able to go after him. And there's a principle that the court cites that you can give special interest to the biggest creditor. And these guys, of course, are the biggest by a long shot. And there are other reasons that, if you convert it, it's just going to take more time, more administrative expenses that will just be taken away from the eventual recovery, such as it is by Moss and Friedman. It'll never be anywhere close to $140 million. It will take so much time because of his tricks to unravel things. There is, some possibility based on his post-petition conduct that he's going to continue to defame them, and so you want the ability to go after it right away. And he would also, not play by the rules and just try to hide the money, etc. So, The main thing is, in going through the factors, they are just a kind of way of stating and restating all the complete, nastiness that he's done toward them, but also to the court system and his own, obligation of telling the truth to courts and the like. So, for the reasons set forth above, the case is dismissed. And so now the Friedman plaintiffs can go, after him in the open field. What precedes him is, he carries now a long chain of many links with all the things he's done. And as they go from court to court to try to capture his assets, I think they're going to have a real sort of head of steam based on the chapter and verse of this opinion by the bankruptcy judge. So Giuliani is now, it should have been maybe a year ago, but now he's again really exposed, and they're going to come after him, kind of without mercy, which of course they shouldn't show him, to attach his assets and really keep him from having any legal protection from bankruptcy law or otherwise. Talk to you later.
Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.